he introduced us thinking that we would, get along, we good match, and that didn't happen. I feel very taken advantage of, and he left me in a horrible situation.
All right, we are on the record now in 2023 SC2. Jeannie Yvette Sartz versus Dan Sullivan, each party appearing in person and pro se via Zoom. We're here on a petition filed by Ms. Sartz against Mr. Sullivan that you are seeking compensation for a 2003 Chrysler Town and Country van that the defendant seized and usurped prior to completing terms of an agreement for trade and purchase of the vehicle. Apparently, he was to get the vehicle in exchange for repairs he was to do on your 1995 Chevrolet 150 OK pickup, but he failed to complete those repairs. And you're seeking loss of work and income dependent on transportation. So you're claiming that he should pay you for loss of work and income because he didn't get the repairs done.
That's right, Your Honor. I lost all of my jobs.
All right. 3, you're seeking damage to your 1995 Chevrolet 150 OK pickup truck while it was on his property. And 4, disruption of normal life activities, loss of transportation costs, of paying for rides, and the anguish and distress of this situation. You're seeking a payment of $2,219.34 for the van plus lost income, which you don't tell me how much that is, and a ratchet that belongs to you that was in your truck for $27. This property has an estimate of $87. All right, so what's the total you're claiming? You've got it kind of split up here, but I don't have a clear figure on exactly what it is you're seeking.
Okay.
Like lost income, I don't know how much that is.
Okay, I had 3 jobs. One was I fed the cats at the scrapyard every weekend, and I made $40 doing that. Gas was really expensive, so I've lost that income. And the second job that I had was I was doing senior care, elder care for a gentleman that had a couple of strokes, and his family needed somebody to just get him out of the house and would stay with him on the weekends. And I would take him 2 or 3 times a week. And each time I took him, it would be for at least 4 hours at a time.
And just tell me the amounts for right now.
Okay, so it was $15 an hour, and on the weekends it was $70 a day.
So what's the total for the elder care that you're seeking?
It varied also with what we.
Right. So you didn't figure how much you're asking?
I'm going to say $200 a week.
So $40 for feeding the cats at the scrapyard a week.
Right.
$20 or $200 a week for elder care, and what else?
Okay, I also worked for 2 people that I did cleanup work after they were doing construction on rental properties.
All right, and construction cleanup, how much was that?
That was $15 an hour, and
how much per week?
I would work 10 to 12 hours a week. So let's round that to $175 a week. In addition to that.
All right, how many weeks are you seeking?
Since October 17th, or let's just make it the 15th.
Okay, I'm getting the impression that you filed this without figuring these numbers.
I have some figures here, Your Honor. I've never had to prepare a civil case like this. And
well, if you're going to bring a civil case, though, you do need to be prepared.
Okay, I have
All right, so what's the grand total you're asking for here?
$4,000 would be,
In other words, you're asking for the maximum amount you
yes,
can get out of a small claims court.
yes.
All right, understand. You're gonna have to be able to prove to me how that breaks down, but we'll get to that.
Okay,
All right, both of you, please raise your right hands. All right, so Mr. Sullivan.
Yes.
I don't need you to go into the whole story right now, but what's your response to this? You filed an answer basically just saying that, why do you not owe her any money?
Well, there's several pages there.
Well, give me the
My-
short version.
That her truck is not fixed at this point because she refused to leave the key for me to fix it.
Okay, let me back this down. Okay. So did you agree with her that if she gave you a van, you would
No.
make repairs on her truck?
There was never no given, no anything except
Okay.
my time and efforts to get her going. That was my initial plan.
All right, did
I
you
went over there.
did you take her van?
I went to work on her van and pickup
Okay,
to
did
get
you
her
take
going.
her
So
van?
she could have
Did you
some
take
wheel.
her van? Did you take
Excuse me?
possession of her van?
Yes, we both were involved in hauling them out here to my home on a trailer.
Okay, why'd you take him out to the trailer?
I was
Out of the
bringing them out here to my home to do the repairs. But first, ma'am, could I tell you how I,
Well, she's the plaintiff. Let's let her. I was just trying to get a feel for what your response is. So you don't owe her anything. Does she owe you anything?
the title to the van and $250 for the
Okay,
parts.
so somehow you got her van and she owes you the title to it. All right. Miss Fisher, the burden is on you to prove to me why he owes you $4,000. What do you have to say about that and what proof do you have of it?
Ma'am, you called me Fisher and my name is Sarts, and I know that you just
I'm
had it.
sorry, Miss Sarts. Yes, Miss Sarts. Thank you. No, thank you for correcting
I
me.
had a truck and a van, and I wanted my truck fixed. He took the truck, he took the van. At some point, he quit cooperating and fixing the truck. This was after I told him I knew that he backed into my truck and did damage to it. I took the truck back. In order for me to do that, I had to have somebody else come to his property and help me get my truck going because he had it disabled. I did not want to leave my truck there anymore because he had already taken the van. I did not know where it was. He would not return my key to it. And he quit cooperating. He quit doing any kind of communicating. And when there's no communicating going on, nothing is getting done. There's no progress. And there's also no resolve. $4,000 since the middle of October is a meager when all of a sudden you are left with no transportation. Your vehicle has been damaged and undrivable. You don't have your other vehicle to possibly sell so that you could get money. I've had to pay for rides, and that is accumulative every day. Not on top of that is
Do you have any receipts or any kind of verification proof of what you were paying?
I have a whole envelope of receipts of work that was done to the van from the time that I bought it.
But I'm asking about, you're wanting all this lost wages and costs of rides. Do you have any proof of that, the amounts?
My mother is right here, and my mother has had to transport me a lot, so it's been on her wallet. And so
how do you know Mr. Sullivan? What's your relationship with him?
I was working at a convenience store, a liquor store, and a customer that I befriended said, and this was about five or 6 years ago, he introduced us. And Dan has done other work on my truck, and I've been satisfied with
Okay,
it.
so you've just had a business relationship. Someone suggested you use him to do repair work?
He introduced us thinking that we would, get along, we could match, and that didn't happen. And
All right, so
is a good mechanic, and I've used him before, and he was always fair He would a lot of times do the work. If I bought the parts, he wouldn't charge me any labor. And we were friends.
All right. So when did you make this special agreement that you say you made?
In early October
Of 2022?
of 2022.
And where did you make this agreement?
We were probably at his house.
Which is where?
He lives it's in El Dorado. It's Butler County. It's out of the city limits.
All right.
So
Okay. So what was the agreement you made?
that my whole thing was I wanted my pickup fixed because I had been through 2 people and over 16 months of trying to get my pickup fixed. And it had cost me well over $1,500. And my pickup, after I got it back, had to have it towed the second time back to my house. I was out all this money and I still didn't have a pickup. And I knew
how much is your pickup worth?
it's probably worth, well, when it doesn't run, it's probably worth, I mean, if I sold it for scrap, I might get $500. However, there was a new engine put in it in 2010. I bought the truck in 2008 from my brother, and it was in wonderful shape. He'd taken care of it. He'd been the only owner.
How much is it worth if it runs?
If it runs, it would be worth probably $1,500.
All right. So you'd already put more into it than it was worth?
Yes, I had, and I was frustrated.
All right. So what was the agreement specifically that you made with Dan Sullivan?
Well, the reason that I had the van was because I couldn't get, the truck was sitting at a place and not being fixed, and I had no transportation. So I bought the van. I put all this work into it, and I have a whole envelope of receipts to prove to that to you.
All right,
And
so did the van run when you had it?
yes, the van was in bad shape. I had to do a lot of work to it. It needed spark plugs, the whole maintenance.
Okay, so you put a lot of work into it, and then.
And I drove it for 14 months.
How does the van fit into this equation?
Okay, what was going on with the van was it was starting to become unreliable, especially when I had my senior client with me. I would go somewhere and it would start when I would pick him up. We would get somewhere and then it wouldn't start again.
Okay,
And
so how did you come to have contact with Mr. Sullivan?
actually, I was at the scrapyard one day, and because I worked there also, and prior to this time, and I continue to scrap with my truck. That's why I need my truck back.
Okay, so let's kind of, we don't have all day, so, and I want to give you your fair time.
Okay.
So tell me, let's stick to the relevant portions of this situation.
Okay,
So you ran into Mr. Sullivan one day at the scrapyard,
right. And
apparently in October.
it was actually it was the month before, and we were kind of communicating back and forth, and I felt like he had apologized to me for things that had happened in the
All right,
past.
well, I don't need to get into your relationship. I just need to know what the agreement was you made with Mr. Sullivan about the truck and the van.
That if he fixed my truck, that he could buy the van, and I would give it to him.
Okay,
that he
stop right there. If he fixed your truck,
Correct,
he could buy the van?
correct. And I would do that.
How much was he going to buy the van for?
That was not resolved yet. It was
To be resolved, to be determined.
to be determined. And he jumped the gun when he took the van and went and hid it or sold it. I've never seen the van since.
All right, so what happened with the truck?
The truck, I was able to make it home that night. Someone followed me home so that I could get the truck home. And the truck has been sitting ever since because I can't afford to fix it.
I thought somebody said that he took them both on a trailer to his house.
He did. I had to remove my truck
All
from
right,
the property.
so when did he come and take the van and the truck?
He took the truck and the van. I have notes here.
And he took them with your permission?
I didn't want him taking the pickup truck because he could work on it at my house on level ground on the concrete instead of having it at his house and working in the dirt.
Okay, but did you ultimately say,
Yes,
okay, fine, take it?
he's very intimidating.
Okay, so he took them both with your permission to his property somewhere around October
In
for
our
the purpose of fixing them, for the purpose of fixing your truck so he could buy your van.
correct.
All right, and how long did he have the property?
He had it. He quit communicating on the 17th of October, and on
Did he give you reason for why he quit communicating?
well, I had told him on the 16th that I knew that he had done the damage to the front of my truck, and he was continuing to pressure me to get the title to the van, and I wasn't going to give him the title to the van until I had my pickup truck fixed.
So did the
And-
truck get damaged between your house and his house?
No, it was damaged after it was on his property.
Okay, all right. So October 16th, you pretty quickly, in other words, it got damaged shortly after he took it.
It happened the day after it was towed because I went back the next day. And
All right, so how long so neither one of these vehicles ran when he took them, or did they?
the van would start intermittently. It
Okay,
wouldn't start all the time, but I had I didn't want to continue to fix the van when I needed my truck.
okay.
And that's really the whole thing and he saw it as he could make money on it.
Well, let's let him talk for himself. And
Okay.
so, all right. So how long did he have your truck and van?
He took the van on the 24th. I hadn't seen it on the 23rd and it was on the I think it's the 21st that I took my van. It was a Friday evening that I took my truck, and someone came and changed the tire and got.
Okay, so you came and took your truck from him on October 24th?
It was on a Friday. I had been working for him I worked 4 hours for him to help pay for these parts, and that I don't know that those are the parts that went on my truck because the receipt that he showed did not have what it was for. There were 3 parts that were purchased on that invoice. And so those could have been parts that were purchased for the van. I
So
don't know.
he did put some parts on your truck,
As far as I know,
and then you came and got the truck?
yes.
Did it run?
It was worse than before.
Okay, all right.
And now when I got it home, it has a leak underneath it. And I am not a mechanic, Your Honor, and I feel very taken advantage of, and he left me in a horrible situation. I suffer from depression, and this just absolutely crushed me. I quit.
But the vehicles weren't running before he took them, and you'd had them to 2 different guys in over 18 months, and they didn't get it fixed. So how did he put you in a worse situation?
They were running. The van was running when it would start, but it became unreliable.
Okay,
And it was a nice van, Your Honor. It really was. It had electric windows and all the sunroof, and it was pretty. But for me, hauling scrap, it wasn't what I needed. I have a big dog, and my dog likes to ride with me in my pickup truck, and I love my pickup truck. I want my and it's what.
okay. All right, well, let me hear from him now, because I've got another case too. And
Okay.
like I said, I want to get to the nuts and bolts of what the issues are here.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Sullivan, your response to all of this.
On October the 5th of 22, I stopped by a vet after calling her. She didn't have any wheels. I told her I'd offer my help. So I went to work on the van. She said she didn't have any money to do any parts buying. I said I'd loan her some money. We decided what it needed. We figured it was a starter. So we went and bought a $150 starter. I loaned her the money to get it. I paid for it, in other words. Okay, so we go back This was paid. I told her she could pay me back whenever she got to working and back up on her feet. So we put the starter on there. It didn't work. She was frustrated. I'm just going to sell it for junk. Okay, so wait, before you do that, I'll make you an offer because I'd like to get this done. If we do the junker, it'll take the rest of the day. And then here I am making another trip or two to town. It's $20 every time I go to town and gas. Okay, so I offered her $200 plus what I just spent on the starter for the van. And I would help her get her truck going. Great. She hugged my neck. Okay, so let's get started on this. All right. The van is now mine. I'm concentrating on the truck. We got to get them to my house so I can work on them. Her driveway is about a 30% grade. I couldn't work on anything in that driveway underneath it. I brought it to my house. She was with me. She helped me pull them on and off the trailer, the van and the truck that same day. I get them home and I start working on them. I ordered parts. About 10, 12 days later, they come in. They come in on the 15th, actually. The Saturday, October 15th, I put them on there. She takes the truck. That next morning or that night, she says it's worse than it was. I said, well, bring it back and I'll put a bracket on it because there wasn't no bracket on there to start with. And it was missing. And that's what was causing it to keep messing up. Once you hit the starter a couple times, it'll go off to the side and sound like it's tearing underneath out. So when she left me that truck that time, she didn't leave me the key. I needed the key to fix the truck. I never seen the key again. She shows up on the 19th wanting to work. She had her bag of beer out there and wanted to go out there and work and pay for some parts. And I told her whenever we discussed that a week or two earlier, that we were going to wait until the junk prices went up because it's brass and copper and aluminum and all that. And I wouldn't be able to pay her cash. We'd just split the whatever we got out of it. Okay, so
I'm sorry, sir. What were you going to sell for scrap?
that was the metal that she was separating out there that day she come out here wanting to work.
Okay, so it wasn't the van that you bought. You weren't going to take that to the junk dealer like she talked about.
No,
No,
I-
I bought the van so she wouldn't have to sell it to the junker.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. On the 17th, the day where we're supposed to go get the title applied for because she kept saying she lost the title. Well, we went up to, I went to get her after calling her and texted her and no reply. I went to pick her up. She still didn't come to the door. I come home and I made her, I sent her a text saying that I was done dealing with the phone and the texting and that way. So whenever she got the parts to bring them out here along with the key and I would fix the truck and we would be done with this deal. Well, she didn't never bring me the key. She showed up that Wednesday on the 19th, half drunk, wanting to work. I said, well, did you bring the key this time? She said, well, we are going to have a little talk over that. Well, I went in the house because I was done for the day. This was in the middle of the afternoon. Well, she keeps coming in and out, wanting me this, wanting that. She texted me, wanting me to go get her beer. About dark that night, it was about 7:30, 8 o'clock. She was still here. She comes in, well, what's wrong with my truck? Well, I didn't even know she was out there trying to take the truck. I had pulled a relay out of it, so whenever I was working on the starter, that it wouldn't accidentally kick in, run over me or something. Okay, so I go out there and I fixed the relay. I put the relay back in it and it started. She takes off after drinking all day. I have not seen her since.
Excuse me, she had the key with her then?
Yes, she brought the key and took the truck, but I've never seen the key. She wouldn't give it to me, but I needed the key to work on it. So, and then she got home that same night. She took the truck and texted me that she's going to do this and do that. And she's called me that night saying that she's going to come out here and commit suicide in front of me. And so I feel bad and this and that. And that's when I was done with her. And I went and tried to file small claims against her in December. They told me I needed to go to a different court because I was suing for a vehicle. And January, I got subpoenaed, summoned the small claims papers here. I'm at court on them.
So what were you trying to sue her for?
The title to the van that I purchased, because I give her $200 plus $150 that I paid for the starter, so she would have money to work on the truck. And
Do
she
you
knows she
have
did that.
Do you have a bill of sale or anything of that
No.
sort?
We were going to go to the tag office that Monday and file for lost title and get a bill of sale notarized and everything right then. But she refused to answer or even the door when I went to pick her up to go do it. She changed the plans, and here we are.
You don't have any proof that you gave her $200?
Well, she had to have the money to buy the parts for the van, the pickup, and drain call for 2 weeks.
Do you have any proof? Sir, do you have any proof you gave her money? Do you have any canceled checks or anything like that is what I'm asking?
John, did you see me give her some money that day you was out here?
Sir? Sir,
Hi, my name
Yes.
is John.
my question was, do you have any canceled checks or any kind of written documents, any kind of contracts or anything?
No, I don't have anything in writing saying that I paid her for the van.
Okay, so this was strictly a verbal agreement. How did you pay? In what form did you pay her the $200? Was that cash?
In cash. And I do got a withdrawal receipt, but I'd have to find it that I pulled the money out the same day I paid her for, I give her the 200.
All
I
right.
give her $40 a couple days prior to that. I bought the starter and hauled them out here. I've got about $1,000 in the van at this point.
All right, and you said you had someone named John there. Did he see you give her that money and did he hear the conversation?
He heard, I don't know what he heard. So
Do you want to call him as a
he's
witness?
right here though.
Do you want to call him as a witness?
It is the witness.
Hi.
All
Hi, my name's
right,
John.
raise your right hand.
Hi.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now what is your name?
John O'Flaherty.
Okay, and how do you know the defendant, Dan Sullivan?
We're friends for quite a few years.
And do you know the plaintiff, Jeannie Sartz?
Yes, ma'am.
And what can you tell me about this purchase of the van? Did you see or hear anything that led you to believe that there was a contract to sell this van?
Well, they was doing business. I come pulling up in the driveway and they was just coming out of the house. You know, they was talking about the van, the truck and this and that. I'm not sure what all their conversation was because I was still in the vehicle. When I was getting out of the vehicle, they was coming off the porch, stopped at the bottom of the stairs, and I seen Dan hand her a wad of bills. I don't know how many's in there. You know, during their little talk or whatever. And that's about all I know about it.
Okay.
So they discussing.
Do you remember when you saw him give her that handful of bills?
Exact date? I know.
John.
You don't remember the month or anything, the year or anything like that?
It's last year, and I don't know what there's October, November, whatever they. It still wasn't snowing yet or nothing.
Okay. Did you ever see him work on her truck?
I've seen him work on it before, yeah, but not this here time.
Okay,
I was just stopping by to say hello.
I see. All right, thank you. Is there anything you want to ask your witness, Mr. O'Flaherty?
Would you, what was your take on our discussions out here? You was here when we was talking several times, and did I buy a van?
What I could tell, he was going to get the van, paid parts and stuff for exchange for working on her truck, getting it going. That's all I know about it.
Okay. Ms. Sartz, do you have any questions for the witness, Mr. O'Flaherty?
Yes, I do.
All right. Can you put your camera where we can see him again, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
John, can you tell me when exactly you saw Dan give me a wad of bills? Because
You guys were coming out of the house.
And-
You guys came downstairs.
and
Let him have a chance to answer. Go ahead.
I don't believe you because it didn't happen.
All right, now you can ask him questions, but you can't respond like you just did.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I'm done talking to him.
all right.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Sartz, did you have any other witnesses or evidence you wanted to present?
I do have the title to the van right here. I made copies for you, and I made 3 copies, and I dropped all that information off prior to 10 o'clock this morning so that you would have that available to you.
Thank you.
And at the time, I could not find the original title, but from the paperwork that you have, you will see that the purchase date of the van was 5/19 of 2021, and I had put tags on it. And when I went and put tags on it, this was after I had repairs done, was in July of 2021, and so, but I couldn't find this title when this was going on. So in October, I applied for a replacement title. This was on 10/17, and again, it shows the purchase date of 5/21, and the date the title was printed was 10/18. I wrote no bill of sale because I received no money from Dan. He's a wheeler dealer. He's got multiple vehicles out there that he's working on all the time. I don't know what he does. He's got a yard full of stuff for sale. And I'm flabbergasted because I thought we were friends, and I can't believe that he would do this to me, knowing the trouble that I have had getting the pickup fixed, and that I was absolutely desperate to, and that he took such advantage of me. It's been a nightmare, and I'm an emotional person, and along with depression after this went down, I just fell to pieces. My mother is right here with
All right,
me.
did you want to call your mother as a witness? Does she have something she can help to prove about this purchase, repair?
Yes, she's right here.
All right, please raise your right hand. I need her in front of the camera. You have to speak up. What is your name, please? Marilyn?
Last name Ligon, Ligon.
Okay. And you're the mother of the plaintiff in this action?
Yes.
Okay, what do you have? And I need you to be very concise. What do you have? What knowledge do you have about this?
Yvette has repeatedly told me that Dan never paid her any cash, whether it was $200 or whatever. I did not know any actual terms of their agreement about a swap for the van for work or cash. Mr. Sullivan came by the house a couple of times to look at the van or to pick her up to take her out to where he was supposed to, his house where he was supposed to be working on it.
Were these two involved at some point in a dating relationship?
Not to my knowledge.
Never?
Yes,
Not-
we get dated, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, he prefers men, and it wasn't ever going to work out.
All right. But you had dated for a while?
If you call it dating. He never took me really on any dates.
All right. Well, I didn't want to open a can of worms there. I just
Okay.
trying to figure out what's really going on here and what this is really all about.
Well, I
Okay,
have
so-
no transportation.
Okay. So what is it you want me, you want the van back? You want him to have the van?
I don't know where that van has been since October. I don't know what he's done to it. He could have, he's not a nice person sometimes, and he would do anything to hurt me at this.
Okay, did you agree that he could buy the van if he fixed the truck?
Yes, I agreed that he could buy the van if he would fix my truck.
But he had to fix the truck according to your side of the story.
I was not going to give him the title until my truck was fixed. He
Okay.
quit working on my truck.
Okay, but you did go and get a new title for it when yours was lost or misplaced? or-
Right.
Okay,
He was insisting, he kept pushing me for the title. I did not want him to take me to the courthouse for a number of reasons because
all right, okay, hang on. All right, so now, no more talking from anybody except from me. I'm gonna give you my opinion. And you may not like it, but I'm gonna give it to you both. As far as the van, I find Mr. Sullivan credible when he says that the plaintiff was going to sell the van for scrap. It wasn't working. She'd had problems with it, and she was ready to take it to the junker, as he was referred. And I found Mr. Sullivan credible when he said, I told her not to do that, that I would give her $200 and deduct the $150 I just paid for starter. And of course, I'm paraphrasing.
does he have a receipt for that?
All right, so it does sound like he bought the van, but he didn't have anything in writing. He didn't have any contract, but
Your Honor.
he explained why he didn't have the bill of sale, that they were going to do that at the courthouse. That all makes sense. It sounds like the reason I asked about the dating is I found it curious that he was going to work on the truck, but that the plaintiff had to keep going out there when he went to work on it, that she brought beer several times, and that apparently he didn't respond the way she wanted him to, and she got upset. He really didn't have the truck very long. This all happened in the month of October. By the 18th, he'd already gotten the car tag or the title for him. And he was needing some parts that needed paid for. But he really didn't have it that long to get upset with him and haul it off and say he's not getting it done quickly enough. So I am going to find that he should have the title to the van. I do not find that he owes money for transportation and lost wages or anything like that, because this truck and car didn't work for 18. The van kind of worked, kind of didn't. You couldn't rely on it. That's why you wanted to get rid of it. The truck hadn't worked for 18 months. You said he was the third person in 18 months that you'd given it to fix it. And so you didn't have it as reliable transportation anyway. So it wasn't his fault that you didn't have reliable transportation. If you'd given him a little more time and cooperated with him, giving him the key, maybe he could have gotten it fixed and you could have had a good truck. But at this time, I am denying the petition, and let me make sure that I don't actually think there was a counter petition filed.
It was for the vehicle's title.
Well, are you claiming in your answer that that's where you asked to be given the van? I'm just not seeing that, sir.
Yeah, on the bottom of my defendant's counterclaim, the demand for judgment, statement of claim.
Oh, okay, got it. You want her to pay you $400 and give you the title. What's the $400 for?
For the parts I've spent on the truck and the time and towing and gas. And on the job she said she didn't go to, I took her 2 weekends in a row to feed them cats out there at that salvage yard.
All right.
So,
well, I'm going to grant your claim and order that she present the title, but I'm not going to order that she pay you this $400 because that was just kind of the deal that you two made before it fell apart.
that'll be fine.
So you will need to sign the title over to him. Now, I will tell you both this. This is an appealable decision. You can file an appeal and a district court judge will review and make a determination, and you'll have a chance to present further evidence if you want. You have 14 days to file an appeal if either one of you wants to file an appeal or if you both do. So that's my judgment. Nothing on the plaintiff's claim and the title on the defendants. So,
Your Honor.
yes,
How long does she have to get me the title or file an appeal? Also
14 days.
2 weeks.
14 days. Get him that title. Give him the title today, or if you're going to appeal it, you've got up to 14 days to either appeal it or put it in his hands. All right, nothing further. We'll be in recess and you two may go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Go make an appeal.